it's good to have you on the show, and I'm glad that you've made time on.
Awesome.
Right. I was just telling Apostle in the studio that you're a musician, and he was surprised.
Yes, it's true. Yes, I played in school with the band from which Rocky Dahuni emerged. It was a band called Local Crisis. We were on campus university from 1991 to about 92 before Rocky left for America. Wow. So this is over 30 years ago. Yes. Amanziba's younger brother was also one of the vocalists. Nana Finn at some point played with us, and then other musicians as well. Yeah, we're on campus. So yeah, I play keyboards and I did backing vocals.
And you didn't just play on campus as a session. You played for Korsi Japan. You played for Agbutia, Charles Samoa, and a couple of them.
Yes, Rexoma, Manziba. Actually, I worked on their first demo when I was in Kumasi at Capital. Yes, we recorded it at KJC studio. Tommy Redu, may he rest in peace. I worked with him. I met Kenya in Kumasi. Didn't have the honor of working with him, but I worked with Charles Samoa as well. Nilante, the musician and the doctor. I've done some work with him as well. Yeah, and a lot of station jingles for Capital Radio and other radio stations as well.
We will actually come to the station jingles and commercials. There is one that for over 30 years now, I can't, it's almost, let me see, I heard that jingle.
Yeah, 25, 26 years.
25, 26 years. I have not been able to get that off my head.
I'm happy, because that's the whole point of a jingle. A jingle is supposed to stick in your head. You should not be able to forget it, because that's the power of music. And, I call it 60 seconds music. It's people do 3-minute, 4-minute songs, but a jingle has to sell. A jingle is a salesperson. It's a salesman in music. And so I can still remember jingles from 50 years ago. It's a good life. Open up a club. It's a good life.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I can remember that. And that's like 50 years ago. It's still in my head.
Yeah, that's true.
If it sticks in your head, it's an effective jingle. It has to stay.
Royco, tasty meals you can't resist. Royco, tasty meals.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody likes sunlight.
Absolutely.
Sunlight and water.
Wow.
The sunlight jingle is still in my head, So those are good songs.
Very good song. Interestingly, this one I'm talking about, you did this particular commercial with a very good friend and brother of yours. I don't know if you remember that commercial for Latest Foam.
Yes, I do. I do remember it. Korsi Asiseh.
Korsi Asiseh.
And he's currently general manager of Capital Radio in Kumasi. So he's still in the business.
Yes, he is
doing a great job there. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
We work together a lot. We work with MBY, who used to be with us, Billy Ocean, King Batuka in the UK right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kafui, hold on, Mr. Asiseh.
Yes, Mr. That's
Hey.
Good. Thank you very much for joining us. I have Kafui on the line.
King Kaf.
Yo, Kozai. What a surprise, man. Daniel set us up nicely. I was just speaking to him yesterday. We talk quite often. We're chatting yesterday. On the 1st of March was his brother's birthday. Sorry, his son and his father's birthday. And so we've been chatting. We are brothers. My parents took him as their son, and his parents took me as their son. So he's not just a friend; he's a brother, big time.
Wow, that explains that connection that used to happen on Daybreak Capital way back then. Now, Korsi, I was just talking to Kafui about that particular Latest Foam jingle, which the two of you did. I'm not too sure if I put you on the spot if you can reenact that jingle for me, because I'm sure. I'm very sure folks watching and listening in London and Accra are wondering what is it that Daniel is going all about this particular jingle, which was done. Absolutely. Adish.
Yeah, those were. I'm sure they still have those. They still have those jingles in the Capital database. So after the show, maybe you speak to Korsi and he may get his engineering guy to pull it out for you, and you can listen to them again.
We need to because I actually was trying to look for that jingle on YouTube, and I was hoping that somebody would have put it up for some reason, but I couldn't find it.
We did something for Daco Farms as well. Yeah, we were busy. We're busy there. We're young guys. Some of us in school, some of us just fresh out of school, and it was a new station. And Mrs. Ajuman just gave us she was a general manager. She gave us the freedom to run the station and put the content out there, and we just did it, my brother, from a place of imagination, and creativity.
Now, Kafui and Korsi, please let me ask this. Radio broadcasting back then and now, what are your thoughts? Maybe Kafui, let me take you first and then I'll come to Korsi.
Big change. There was no internet back then. There was no WhatsApp. You really did not know who you were broadcasting to. You had no idea of who you were talking to. So you had to be very creative. And I think you got ideas from when you went to town and kind of found out what people were talking about. And then you just try and echo what they are saying on the air. So it's a completely different time, completely different. No social media, phone-ins just started coming in when we started. So it was a new thing to have you to talk to people on the phone about, hey, we did the best with what we had. And we had mentors. I remember Korsi and I used to listen to the UK Top 30. There was a presenter called Dr. Fox. And when we finished playing the Top 30 on a Saturday, we'll take the CDs, go home, and we'll listen to the CDs and how the presenter presented the music, how he spoke, where he spoke over the music. We learned a lot from mentors who were not even close to us. And so a completely different era. And I'm glad that I'm fortunate enough to have lived in both eras, the old era and then the current era right now. I don't know what Korsi has to say.
Interesting. Korsi, would you say it has changed for the better? Or it's gone, it's taking a downward spiral?
It's gone downwards, unfortunately, and it makes me very, very sad. The young ones are supposed to improve upon what the older ones did years back. Unfortunately, they copied and they think that is the right way, and that has come to stay.
If you say they copy, because not to cut, if you say they copy, what exactly do you mean? Who did they copy from?
You listen to radio now, and it's like you're listening to radio way back in the 70s and the early 2000s. You don't see a progression in the style of presentation, in the creativity and stuff like that. Do you understand my point? Now, for example, when a presenter is presenting like a music presenter over the music, the way they talk, the way they fade the song and come in, it's very unprofessional. And those who started radio back in those days, yes, we did that because we felt that was cool. It was a disco feel. That was the thing they did in the discos, which we copied and brought onto radio. But just as Kafui said, we listened to Dr. Fox, UK Top 30, and we realized that no. That's not the way it is done. So we had to change. But unfortunately, that some people are still doing it today. If I may just demonstrate. So he's playing the music, and he talks, and immediately he starts talking, he fades the song. And then when he stops talking, he pushes the song up again. And then when he wants to talk, he fades the music, he pushes it. It is so unprofessional.
But it's supposed to be a bed, isn't it?
A bed, exactly.
You just drop it.
A mattress. A latex foam mattress.
Say what you want to say. It means that you have organized your thoughts. You know what you want to communicate. You say everything you want to say, and then you push it up. That's how it's supposed to be. And it's like
Okay, it looks like we lost the connection with Korsi. We would have him, but
Daniel,
with yes, with this particular conversation, I'm very interested in it. Let's try and look at the landmark changes. At what point, or what could have been the triggers that led us down this path where we are having this conversation and saying that radio broadcasting in Ghana is taking a downward trend in terms of quality in presentation rather than an upward one. What are the landmark changes that may have necessitated that?
radio is essentially a business. It's a business. I mean, when I was in Kumasi, the only radio stations we had were Garden City Radio, which was a state broadcaster.
Yes.
Then we had
my
OTEC.
brother.
Yes.
Yeah,
Go
my
ahead,
brother.
Korsi.
Yeah, Korsi, go ahead.
We hear you.
Do you get it? Now, when they go on the air, there should be there. You must communicate. What do you want your listeners to know? What information have you got to share? Do you want to entertain them? I mean, specifically, what you want to do. Way back in those days, yes, we went on radio, but today radio has changed. You need to communicate. You need to inform, and you need to entertain. And you should listen to radio today, and you should know that yes, it has changed. Are you getting the point I am making?
I'm getting the point, and I just asked Kafui.
The worst of are the sports presenters. It's so bad. It's so bad. You listen to the EPL commentators, and you listen to our local commentators, and it's so pathetic.
But Korsi,
It's as if they are speaking in tongues.
Korsi, hold on. Korsi, hold on. You know, this has gone on for a very long time, and I know that, like, Kafui started making a submission saying that radio is a business. So we have managers, program managers. They are supposed to be, officers within the establishment who are to guide and quality control what comes out. So what could the problem have been? Is it that those people we at the point when radio was evolving, we put the wrong people in positions to manage these changes?
You have touched on a very delicate topic. You have touched on something which is very delicate. Unfortunately, the politicians are in charge of the media in Ghana. They are the ones who allocate the who do the authorization. So they know radio is powerful and needs to reach out to a lot of people. And so they have owned the media space. So the authorization is given to politicians. So if this particular party is in power, they give the authorization to their cronies. So when these people come to power, their cronies are supposed to help them push their agenda.
But
Do you
Korsi,
understand where I'm coming from?
yeah, I understand. But Korsi, irrespective of that, when it comes to the quality in presentation and delivery, I mean, it's supposed to be a professional doing that job,
You know,
irrespective of your political alignment. Shouldn't that be?
If you get where I'm coming from, the politician only wants to be in power. So he gets the frequency and he gives it to people who can push his agenda for him. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So it's not about broadcasting, it's about politics. So you just listen to all the radio stations. If you tune in the morning show, if you tune into a typical morning show in Ashanti or in Accra or in anywhere, any part of it's all politics. You have one party here, you have one party there. They bring in their communicators and they are just talking. But radio means that if you want to discuss a specific subject, you need an expert. If you want to talk about economics, you need an expert. If you want to talk about governance, you need an expert. But here you are. We call them is it commentators? What do they know about these things? What is their background to be able to inform listeners about the subject matter? Are you getting where I'm coming from?
Right. Now, I'm trying to get where you're.
So the quality is coming right from the top, and they are just employing people so that they can come on air and do whatever they want to do. So you don't have a structure. Just as he was saying, those days, Capital Radio, we were interviewed. That was how I met Kafui Dey. You have a panel where you be interviewed. Your voice quality, your idea about the program you want to host. In fact, you have to write the synopsis of the program you want to host. They take it before you're employed. Is it happening today? No. They get the frequency and they're just picking people from here and there, and they come and sit on the airwaves and they're just talking.
Kafui, let me. Korsi, hold on. Let me ask you this. It is said that radio, the media, most of the time is a reflection of the society. So, with what Korsi is describing now and how the quality of our radio broadcasting has been affected on the landscape, is it not what maybe, or is the media or radio not just mimicking the wider society, what the people want? Maybe the media owners are also thinking that, okay, this is what sells. That is how we put it.
I work at GTV, the national broadcaster. I cannot come on air without a synopsis. I cannot come on air without a question guide. It just doesn't work. You understand? And it is not always what the people want that you should give. Sometimes we arrogate to ourselves some kind of power that, we know what the people want. Let me give you an example that is of what Korsi said.
Okay.
Korsi was talking about how instead of subject experts, we have commentators coming to speak. On our morning show on GTV Breakfast, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, we put in people who are, we don't bring on politicians. Okay, we make it a policy not to bring on politicians. On the few cases that we've brought politicians on the show, one NPP, one NDC, you should see the comments. Say, listen, we don't need these people to come here and tell us, because they come here, they don't tell us the truth. They will sit on their position and they'll defend NDC to the hilt. They'll defend NPP to the hilt. This is not why we are watching GTV. So it's not that the people want to hear from the politicians. In fact, people are tired of politicians, really. If you listen to the ordinary people who don't come on radio, they are tired. But Korsi makes a great point. Radio is meant to inform, to inspire, to entertain, to educate. It's not just a political agenda. When we were starting radio in Kumasi, there were no politicians owning any radio stations. It was Otek, who is a private person. It was GCR, which was the government. And later on, Love FM came after Capital. None of them were owned by politicians. Now it's a completely different business. It's either a businessman with interest in various fields. So he uses the radio station to market all his products. Or it's a politician in the background also who is also in business, and he's also using the radio station to market his products and to give himself a mouthpiece to speak at any time. A lot of them have their own shows. Mr. Kennedy Japan comes on his own network to speak. Wontumi also comes on his own network to speak. And these are just a few of the politicians who own radio stations. Others are behind businessmen, but they are the ones who own the stations. And when it happens like that, when you see, and it's not bad for a politician to own a TV station or a radio station, but the hiring process is the key thing that Korsi talked about. I never knew Korsi from anybody until we met in the lobby of Capital Radio in 1997, sometime in June or so, for an audition. And we had to audition. Voice quality, your ideas, all those things. Now, if you can play music in a club, you are more likely to get onto a radio station to play music. If you can string a couple of sentences together in whatever language, they'll say, oh, you speak well. Come on air and talk. If you have a voice like Barry White, hey, they put you straight nighttime show because he has a sexy voice, you know? So We're going backwards. It's a fact.
Anyway, it's a Rainbow Entertainment 92.4 FM. If you are listening to us in London, 87.5 in Accra, and I have with me discussing radio broadcasting in Ghana then and now, Kafui Dey and Korsi Asiseh. If you were based in Kumasi in between 1997, 1999, 2000 thereabout, these are miserable voices. I mean, Daybreak Capital. These were the men who made it tick. Apostle, you want to say something?
You know, Uncle Datsun, Mr. Kaf ne Asiseh Kano. You know, this is actually happening, and it is really bad. Radio Jumani TV Juma crying because the kind of type of people that have been employed sitting on radio and TV, and then the delivery they are, coming out with, ultimu say omunima de no mo so. Now, yenhwe Acrobato, the real news. It is something purposely for him because a comedy show.
Okay.
People don't know say a comedy show. And a binum kusua or something, and then they started picking certain people to do some particular shows that are meant for professionals. And radio. So look, acquired to the extent say a whole big media, house has even employed somebody who is a TikTok star to do a mid-morning show. How come? And you could see, said the interviews this person is even granting on radio. She doesn't know the pros and cons, and then comes out with anything from her mouth because or your TikTok star radio. So and she just, I don't know, is it because these people have followers and they just want to get them on their station just to give them the numbers.
I will come to that, Apostle. But one thing, let me find out from Kafui and Korsi. Has education got a big role to play in this? Because I'm asking this because it looks like we did not anticipate how quickly this industry, that's the radio industry, will boomerang in Ghana. So I'm not too sure that we had educational institutions in place to train the professionals required to go on air and deliver the kind of quality we are talking about in this conversation. Apart from GIJ, I'm not too sure if even as at now there are a lot of quality institutions that are training professionals to be able to deliver. So has education got any role to play in this?
No,
Korsi, go ahead.
I was telling you something, yeah? I was telling you that the structure is wrong.
Okay.
Do you understand? The structure is wrong. If you get the structure wrong, everything will be wrong. And I have told you that the powers that be are allocating the various frequencies to their friends. And the whole thing is to keep them in power. So they don't have time for this, your education thing that you are talking about. Are you getting what I'm at the
I get the point you are making.
You know Rabodef?
Rabodef, yes. My Uncle Tommy and Forsen.
Where is his school now?
That's a good question.
Which radio station will go to Rabodef that, hey, I need human resource from you? When they are just hiring anybody to sit on the way, they call them communicators or whatever, to just sit there and be doing whatever they want to do. And they are paying them huge sums of money. Are you getting the point I am making?
Okay.
If radio stations were to demand a specific qualification, Now let me digress a bit. Sometime back, some few years ago, I think DVLA or the road ministry sat and they said, no, we have done a research, and the research that we conducted, we realized that you need some level of education to be able to drive.
Okay.
And that was when they instituted the exams as a means to be able to get your driver's license in Ghana. They conducted the research. So now if you want a driver's license, you need to write an exam. Aside the normal road test, you go, you write an exam. And it has become mandatory. In broadcasting, it should be the same. Not asking, write an exam, but you should be able to have certain qualities, even your level of thinking, because we influence society by what we say. And that's how you shape the society. And that's the reason why the international community most of the time are interested in giving some workshops and stuff to some radio stations, because they know that, number one, the media is so powerful that it can help a nation to develop, because everything is based on your mind. What you listen to or what you have in your mind informs how you will live. So if you have the structure wrong, everything will go wrong. Now you have radio stations, so many of them. Ashanti region alone, we have over 100 radio stations. Listen to them and ask yourself, what exactly are they offering? What is it that they why did they go for the frequency? What have they got to offer the public? And so that is where the problem is. So what are the institutions going to do? If you establish an institution today, will the radio stations request for a certificate before you are employed? So obviously that is not going to work. Are you getting where
I understand you. That's a very, very good point that you made there.
Unfortunately for us too in the industry, the people they are employing, once they are able to appeal to that's as you say, like they are discussing politics and the person is spewing lies and is creating unnecessary whatever, and people are listening in, they activate the phone line, people are calling, then advertisers will now be buying slots and stuff like that. Once they are making their money, what are they going to use education for?
No, that means the quality that doesn't even respond to the quality that we are talking about.
I don't want to mention names, but there are some presenters who have gained so much popularity just by criticizing and just by saying things they cannot prove, and they have such huge following. I said, but what is going on here? And radio stations and certain media houses are ready to sign them on, because at the end of the day, they are making money for them.
It looks like this point has a depth that maybe we may have to explore a bit more and talk about. But I want to move a little bit and then look at radio and our music industry. I mean, Kafui, this one is right up your street because you're a musician. You've been one. You've worked in radio. You've worked in television, and what would you say that radio broadcasting especially